Attention, this is not just another YouTube video. What you're about to witness will shatter everything you thought you knew about NASA and space exploration. Are you ready to discover the terrifying truth about what they found on the moon? The secret mission they erased from history? Then don't wait. Smash that subscribe button right now. Hit that notification bell, destroy the like button, and share this video everywhere, because what I'm about to reveal has already put my life in danger. They're watching me, and they might come for you next. The countdown to revelation begins now. I never should have gone through my uncle's things after the accident. It's been exactly 3 months since Uncle Jack's car went off that bridge in Pensacola. 3 months of sorting through his cluttered apartment in Houston, boxing up the remnants of a life spent in service to NASA. He'd been there since '68, a communications specialist who worked on multiple Apollo missions before, transitioning to a desk job in the '80s. The official story was that he'd fallen asleep at the wheel after a long drive home to visit family in Florida. No alcohol in his system, just fatigue, they said. But I knew better. Uncle Jack never drove tired. He was methodical to the point of obsession, the kind of man who checked his tire pressure before every trip and kept a precise log of his gas mileage in a small notebook. The kind of man who made coffee in a laboratory beaker because it ensured the exact right water-to-grounds ratio. I should have been suspicious when his colleagues from NASA attended the funeral but barely spoke to anyone. Men in their 70s with military postures and eyes that didn't match their polite smiles. They placed a small model of the Apollo command module on his casket, a strange tribute that made my father uncomfortable. Jack was just an administrator, Dad had whispered. He never went to space. It wasn't until last night, as I sorted through the last box of his belongings, technical manuals and star charts and folders of calculations, that I found the unmarked flash drive. It was hidden inside a hollowed-out copy of The Right Stuff. Classic Uncle Jack, hiding things in plain sight. Like when he'd slipped $20 bills into books he lent me when I was in college. I almost threw it away. Almost. Instead, I plugged it into my laptop, expecting tax returns or maybe some embarrassing collection of downloaded movies. What I found was a folder labeled Apollo, 20 personal log, and dozens of video files with timestamps from 1976, which is impossible. Everyone knows Apollo 17 was the last lunar mission. NASA canceled the rest due to budget cuts. The first video was just static, the second too. But the third, Christ. The third showed the lunar surface from orbit, a camera panning across a desolate plain to focus on something long and cylindrical, partially buried in a crater, something that couldn't possibly be natural. I've spent all night watching these files. My hands won't stop shaking. What I've seen, what Uncle Jack recorded, it changes everything we know. The government, NASA, they've been hiding the truth for nearly 50 years. I need to document this, all of it, because they're watching me now. I've seen the same car parked across the street for 2 days. My phone makes strange clicking sounds during calls. And last night, someone tried to access my apartment while I was in the shower. If something happens to me, at least there will be a record. I'm uploading everything to scheduled posts across multiple platforms. They can't stop all of them. This is what I've pieced together from my uncle's files. This is the truth about Apollo 20 and what happened to its crew. This is why my uncle had to die. The fourth video file starts with Uncle Jack's face. He looks younger than I remember, mid-30s with thick brown hair and those intense gray eyes that could make you confess to stealing cookies as a kid. He's wearing a NASA polo, shirt, and sitting in what looks like a small office. Walls covered with star charts and mission schematics. Personal log, July 7th, 1976. Pre-mission briefing complete. His voice is steady, professional. They finally told us the real objective. Not geological samples, not another flag-planting exercise. We're going after the object first photographed during Apollo 15's orbital pass, the long structure in the Delport Isaac region. He glances toward his office door before continuing, lower. Now, this isn't an official NASA mission. No public announcement, no press coverage. Our designation is Apollo 20 internally, but officially, we don't exist. Defense Department and Central Intelligence Agency oversight. Commander Young told us the hardware was already allocated before Apollo 17. They just stored it instead of scrapping it. 3 years of secret prep and training, launch in 6 days. The video cuts out, then resumes with a new timestamp. July 10th. They showed us the enhanced photos today. Whatever this thing is, it's not natural. Straight lines, consistent geometry, partially buried but clearly manufactured. Consensus is it's a derelict spacecraft of non-terrestrial origin. Jack runs a hand through his hair, something I'd seen him do countless times when stressed. Crew is myself, handling communications, Young commanding, Thompson on geology, 3-man mission. No lunar module pilot since our LM has been heavily modified with additional cargo capacity. Our orders are to land near the object, collect samples, document everything, and if possible, retrieve technology for study. God help us if the Soviets find out. I pause the video and pace around my small apartment. This can't be real. It has to be an elaborate hoax. Maybe Uncle Jack was working on some sci-fi screenplay in his retirement, but the footage looks authentic, the details consistent with actual NASA operations of that era. The next file is dated July 15th, launch day. It shows the interior of the command module. 3 men in space suits performing pre-launch checks. The camera seems to be mounted on the instrument panel. I recognize Uncle Jack's voice calling out system statuses. T-2 minutes and counting. Communication systems nominal. Telemetry locked. A deeper voice, presumably Young, responds. Copy that, Jackson. Thompson, fuel cell status. Fuel cells green across the board, Commander. The countdown continues, everything by the book. Then the rumble begins. The entire frame shaking violently. The Saturn V, a rocket that officially never launched in 1976, thunders to life. The next batch of files documents their translunar journey. Routine communications, equipment checks, course corrections, all utterly mundane except for the fact they shouldn't exist. Jack's personal logs grow more tense as they approach lunar orbit. July 19th. Thompson spotted it during our first pass. Even from orbit, it's unsettling, approximately 200 meters in length, cylindrical, but with protrusions at regular intervals. Metallic surface despite decades or centuries of micrometeorite impacts. Young barely says anything now, just stares at the photographs. Our landing is scheduled for 0600 hours tomorrow. The final orbital video shows it. The object, half buried in the lunar regolith. Even through the grainy footage, I can see what disturbed them. It's clearly artificial. A massive tube-like structure with a row of what look like circular ports along one side. One end appears damaged or broken open. We're looking at the corpse of a starship, Jack's voice whispers in the background. God knows how old, God knows where from. The landing footage is tense. The lunar module descending toward a flat plain about half a kilometer from the object. Dust billows as they touch down. Through the triangular window, the object is visible on the horizon, a dark line against the stark lunar landscape. Young's voice crackles. Houston, Apollo 20. The Eagle has landed. Again. There's no response. Houston, Apollo 20, radio check. Silence. Jack's voice tighter now. Possible radio interference from the object, switching to secondary channels. Houston, Apollo 20. Do you copy? Still nothing. Loss of signal was a possibility in the briefing. Thompson says. We'll proceed per contingency plan Alpha. First EVA in 3 hours. The video ends there. I check the next file. It's corrupted. So is the next. Several hours of footage, gone. When the video resumes, it shows the lunar surface from a helmet camera. A spacesuited figure moves slowly across the regolith toward the object, now looming large in the frame. The sun hangs low on the horizon, creating long, piercing shadows that make the structure look like a massive ribcage, half buried in the moon's surface. This is Commander Young, beginning approach to the object, Jackson and Thompson securing base camp and monitoring vitals. Young's breathing is audible, measured, but quick. First impressions? This thing is ancient, surface pitting consistent with millions of years of exposure. He moves closer, and the camera reveals intricate patterns etched into the hull, swirling symbols unlike any human language. I'm at the breach point now. There's an opening. I can see inside. The video freezes on that frame, his gloved hand reaching toward a dark aperture in the massive structure. The final file in this sequence is a close-up of Uncle Jack, his face pale, eyes wide. "God help us," he whispers. They were waiting. I had to step away from the laptop after that last video. Spent an hour just staring out my apartment window at the Houston skyline, trying to make sense of it all. The same questions kept circling. If this was real, why hadn't anyone leaked it before? How could they hide an entire Saturn V launch? And what the hell did Uncle Jack mean by "they were waiting"? When I returned to the files, I found a text document I'd missed before. It was labeled Contingency Protocol and dated July 14, 1976, the day before launch. It contained a list of rules, procedures, guidelines for what was clearly expected to be first contact. Apollo 20 Special Contingency Protocol, classified level Umbra, July 14, 1976. In the event of discovery of non-terrestrial technology or entities, adhere to the following protocol. Rule 1. Maintain mission communication security at all times. No unauthorized transmissions, regardless of discoveries. All findings classified level Umbra until declassified by Joint NASA-DoD Committee. Rule 2. Physical contact with recovered technology must follow quarantine procedure. All samples sealed in triple-layered containment before return to CM. Rule 3. In the event of discovery of biological material, no direct contact permitted. Use extended sampling tools only. Priority collection of any cellular material for return analysis. Rule 4. If active technology is encountered, do not attempt activation or interface. Document only. Recovery team will follow. Rule 5. In the event of encounter with active non-terrestrial entities, maintain minimum safe distance of 50 meters. No communication attempts without explicit authorization from mission control. Rule 6. If communication with non-terrestrial intelligence occurs, use first contact mathematical sequence as outlined in Appendix B. Do not share information about Earth location or human biology. Rule 7. In the event of hostile action or perceived threat, immediate abort to LM. Authorization for defensive measures requires voice confirmation from Mission Commander and Capcom. Failure to adhere to protocol may result in mission abort and full quarantine upon return. Below the rules was a handwritten note in Uncle Jack's distinctive block lettering. These won't be enough. The next video jumps, starts my heart rate all over again. It's from a helmet cam, showing the lunar surface from inside what must be the alien craft. The timestamp indicates it's still July 20th, 1976, just hours after landing. This is Jackson. I'm recording this separate from the official mission feed. His voice is hushed, tense. Young entered the structure 30 minutes ago, lost radio contact after 5 minutes. Thompson and I followed per emergency protocols. The camera pans across what looks like a corridor. The walls are curved, made of some dark material with faint luminescent lines running through it like circuitry. The helmet light catches dust particles, floating in the lunar vacuum. The interior appears to maintain structural integrity despite the breach. No atmosphere, of course. Temperature consistent with external readings. But these markings, they're not random. Some kind of writing or circuit patterns. The camera moves forward, following boot prints in the lunar dust that covers the floor. The corridor widens into a larger chamber. There, a space-suited figure, young, stands motionless before what appears to be a control panel of some kind. A curved wall of dark, reflective material rises above it. "Commander?" Jack's voice calls out. "Commander Young?" The figure doesn't respond. Thompson moves into frame, approaching Young cautiously. "He's not responding on any channel," Thompson says, his voice crackling with static. "Vitals are... Wait, that can't be right. I'm getting 2 heartbeat signatures from his suit telemetry." Jack moves closer, and the camera reveals Young's helmet. Through the visor, his face is visible. Eyes, wide open, unblinking. His lips are moving rapidly, but no sound comes through the comms. "Jesus Christ," whispers Thompson. "Look at the panel." The camera pans down to show the control surface. It's no longer dark. Symbols pulse with an inner light, sequences of geometric patterns flowing across its surface. Young's gloved hand rests on one section, seemingly fused to it. "We need to get him out now." Jack's voice is tight with controlled panic. "Help me pull him back." The 2 men grip Young's shoulders, trying to pull him away from the panel. He doesn't budge, as if welded in place. The light patterns increase in speed, racing across the control surface and beginning to crawl up Young's arm. "It's interfacing with his suit systems," Thompson shouts. "Cut the power! Cut his suit power!" The video jerks wildly as they struggle with Young's backpacked life support system. Suddenly, Young turns his head. A movement too fluid, too quick for the bulky spacesuit. His visor reflects the light from their helmets, but behind it, his eyes now glow with the same pulsing patterns as the control panel. The video cuts out for 30 seconds, then resumes. They're back in the lunar module. Young is laid out on the floor, his helmet removed, his eyes closed, face slack. "Stabilized his vitals," Thompson is saying, hands working frantically with a medical kit. "But I don't know what that thing did to him. Some kind of information transfer, maybe. His brain activity is off the charts." "Houston still isn't responding," Jack says, operating the communications panel. "And the transmission logs show they stopped receiving 5 minutes after we landed. It's like something's jamming us, but only in one direction." "We need to abort," Thompson says firmly. "Load him up and get off this rock, whatever this thing is." Young's eyes snap open. Both men freeze. Young sits up with mechanical precision, his movements unnaturally smooth. "No, abort." Young's voice sounds normal, but his intonation is flat. "Continue mission. Recovery is primary objective." "Commander, you were compromised," Jack says carefully. "We need to assess." "I am fine." Young's head tilts slightly, as if listening to something they can't hear. "I understand now. They've been waiting so long." "Who's been waiting, Commander?" Thompson asks, one hand discreetly moving toward what looks like a sedative injector. Young's eyes focus on Thompson's movement, and his hand shoots out with impossible speed, grabbing Thompson's wrist. "They showed me. The makers. The purpose." Young's voice remains eerily calm. "We have new parameters now. New rules." "What rules, Commander?" Jack asks, and I can hear the fear beneath his professional tone. Young finally looks directly at the camera, and his eyes briefly flash with those strange patterns again. "Rule 1, he says with a small, unnatural smile. "The vessel must be protected until they return." "Who are they?" Thompson asks, trying to pull his wrist free. "Rule 2, Young continues as if Thompson hadn't spoken. "Earth coordinates must be transmitted when the network reactivates." Jack's voice barely audible. "Network?" "Rule 3, Young's grip on Thompson tightens until the other man gasps in pain. Resistance will be noted and addressed. The video cuts again. When it resumes, Jack is alone in what looks like the command module's sleeping compartment. His face is bruised, a cut above his eye. Personal log, July 21st. Thompson is dead. His voice is hollow, exhausted. Young, or whatever is controlling Young, broke his neck when he tried to administer the sedative. I managed to get back to the command module while Young was interfacing with that thing again. Initiated emergency launch sequence, currently in lunar orbit. Young is still in the LM on the surface. He rubs his face, wincing at the cut. Houston still isn't responding. I think the object is blocking outgoing transmissions somehow. But I can still receive. And what I'm hearing, he swallows hard. There are 6 more launches scheduled. Secret missions. They're sending more people to that thing. The next few files show Jack's desperate journey back to Earth. Alone in the command module, fighting sleep, talking to himself to stay awake. The re-entry footage is harrowing, the capsule shaking violently, Jack strapped into his seat, eyes closed, lips moving in what might be prayer, then splashdown, the capsule bobbing in the ocean, Jack unstrapping, moving to the hatch, then freezing as he hears something. Helicopter rotors, but his expression isn't relief, it's terror. They're not recovery, he whispers to the camera. Wrong markings, black helicopters. They know I'm not, that I didn't. He reaches for something off camera, then looks directly into the lens. If you're seeing this, they found me. But I made copies, multiple dead drops. The truth has to get out. That thing on the moon, it's not dead. It's a beacon. And Young, whatever's in Young now, is just the first. They're coming. God help us all, they're coming. The video ends there. The final file is a text document dated just 3 months ago, the day before Uncle Jack's accident. It's brief, just a few lines. They found the last drop. They're coming for me now. Remember the rules, especially the last one, the one they didn't list in the protocol. Never look directly at the moon between midnight and 3 a.m. That's when they can see you back. I close the laptop, hands shaking. Outside my window, the same black sedan has been parked across the street all day. My phone rings. Unknown number. I don't answer. Instead, I upload everything. All the files, this document, everything, to scheduled posts. Multiple platforms, timed releases. They can't stop all of them. I hear footsteps in the hallway outside my apartment. Heavy, deliberate, not my neighbors. They're here. Remember, don't look at the moon after midnight. They can see you back.